Welcome to another edition of the Suns Jam Session podcast. I was thinking today, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring my co-host Matthew in for this one. Matthew, I was thinking today about the fact that there is a ton of Christmas songs, like a shit ton of Christmas songs. There's a few Hanukkah songs, and hell, Halloween even has a song. They did the Monster Mash, right? Why does Thanksgiving not have a song, man?
I don't know. That is a good question. I was not prepared for that. Otherwise, I would have probably studied or looked it up for an hour or so to see if there is one. The only one I can think of is the one from Home Alone, or not Home Alone, Addams Family 2, the one where they have the play. But I don't even know what song that is. But that's the only thing I think of when it comes to Thanksgiving.
Like the only thing that's like
is where they set the stage on fire. Yeah, that's it. That's totally it.
That's crap, man.
Are we gonna make a song or something or what? You know what? I think there's no songs because Thanksgiving happens. You get so full and like you're sick of yourself. You have no creativity. Your brain's clogged, so you can't think of anything to sing, right?
Maybe, but like there's so much anticipation for Thanksgiving after Halloween that you think you would sit around just like Christmas and you're like, we've got to come up with an epic Thanksgiving song to celebrate what is, in my opinion, the best holiday of the year.
Yeah. No,
what is your favorite holiday? Easter? Don't be lame.
No, it's Christmas.
Okay.
It's Christmas and Halloween neck to neck right now because Christmas I don't get any presents. You don't get any presents either, do you? Yeah.
No, all I get is debt.
It's all about the kids. Yeah, it's all about the debt.
Yeah. It's no longer fun.
That was a good question to start the pod with, though. Maybe some of the jamsters would know if there's a song out there we just haven't thought of.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it on my drive home today. I'm like, there's no good Thanksgiving songs, and for me, it is my favorite holiday, man. I love eating food. What can I say? So,
I'm right there with you, dude.
Yeah. So, and Christmas, to its own right, has Christmas dinner, and Christmas is nice because there's Christmas Eve and there's Christmas. So, if you come from divided households, like I do, you get
everybody.
Like everybody, you get two Christmases. Like, oh, that's my Christmas Eve family, and that's my Christmas family.
Yeah.
So I guess that's why I can understand that's maybe why people like Christmas more. It's like you get stuff, but like you said, as you get older, you don't get stuff. You give stuff, which is actually more fun in my opinion. I love
giving. Me too. I love giving more than getting. I think. Well, it depends what it is. Because if I was surprised with a PlayStation 5 this year, that's the best gift I've ever gotten. So that would be great.
Do you know what I really want for Christmas this year?
What do you want?
I really want a Valley Boys jersey, man. Like I really want like a Devin
over
Booker
a PS5?
Valley Boys.
Over a PS5?
Yeah, because a PS5 is for a couple reasons. I don't play video games nearly as much as I used to. I can't tell you the last time I touched my PS4 in an effort to do anything other than watch Netflix. I mean,
you're right.
I just don't like ever since I went back to work. Now during the pandemic, God bless that thing. I was playing Call of Duty and NBA 2K like all day, every day because I had nothing else to do. But like I'm a busy guy,
Yeah,
I don't have time to really commit to a PS5. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm still a male, and I still want one. I'm still a kid at heart. I still want one. I'm still a guy.
No, yeah, I'm right there with you. I actually, whenever I play now, I'm like, you know what? I could be more productive, but it's still fun. Like you refer load, so that's a perfect time to have one. But right now, I feel like there's too much going on. The NBA is coming back. We don't have time. I don't have time. I don't think you have time. So we'll leave it to the kids. And maybe one day when we retire, we'll get the PS5.
By then, the PS8 will be out. Easily. It'll probably be the PS20.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, sorry about the random intro to all the listeners out there. Thank you for joining the Suns Jam Session podcast. My name is John. His name is Matthew. This is the pod. We appreciate that you're stopping by and hanging out with us. We're thankful, if you will, that you're doing so, especially on Thanksgiving Eve, which again, another reason why Thanksgiving, should get more credit, man. It needs to have an Eve. It doesn't have Thanksgiving Eve. Like there's Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. Why doesn't this one get an Eve?
Well, it's just getting cooking ready though. It's just so much work. It's not even. I feel like the ladies and the gentlemen that are in the kitchen. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but usually in my family, it's just the ladies in the kitchen getting stuff ready. It's not a lot of fun. The fun is the next day.
Yes.
But Thanksgiving Eve is just like hectic, hot, sweaty. You're in the kitchen for 8 hours getting stuff ready. That doesn't seem like it deserves an Eve because it's not really, relaxation like a Christmas Eve.
Yeah, but you have a couple glasses of wine. You're making the casseroles and the mac and cheese. I mean, it's an event. It's a good time. So, anyways, happy Thanksgiving to those of you who are listening to this podcast tomorrow. If you're joining us for the live stream on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook, happy Thanksgiving Eve to you right now. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Suns Jam. You can follow the show on the Bright Side of the Sun podcast network, wherever you get your pods. Make sure you subscribe, rate, and review. We appreciate it. You can get the Suns Jam session as well as fanning the flames there. And if you're watching on YouTube, do us a favor and go ahead and click the thumbs up button on what you're watching right now and hit the subscribe button as well. We really appreciate that. I think it's time to talk about some of the things that we're thankful for. There's plenty to be thankful for, especially considering about this time next week, we were still kind of all in the shock and awe portion of, hold on, Jalen Smith's now a Sun, and still kind of, recuperating from, knowing that we became a relevant team in the NBA by receiving Chris Paul. So we're going to talk about on this podcast what we're thankful for as Suns fans, just kind of your typical corny, top 3 what we're thankful for things. And then we're going to discuss the Kelly Oubre drama that's going up there in Golden State as it pertains to the Phoenix Suns, which is unfortunate, but you know what? He's not.
It happens.
He said essentially that, we're no longer the Valley Boys, we're the fellas and we can have it. So if you're with me,
fellas! What up, fellas?
Just go ahead, crack open a beer, take a nice sip. Badass. Let's talk Suns, baby.
Fellas! What up, fellas?
All right, happy Thanksgiving, fellas. I just want to kind of start this podcast by exploring the different things that we're thankful for as Suns fans, as it pertains to being Suns fans. I assume, or at least I hope, Matthew, that you're thankful for your family and your friends and your health. So I'm not going to say, hey, tell me the 3 things that you're thankful for in your life right now, because
that's boring.
Yeah, my health, my family, I love them, my friends, those are the easy ones. We want to talk about what, as Suns fans, we are happy and thankful for as we enter this Thanksgiving season in 2020, quite possibly the craziest year ever. Shout out to a lot of the people in the chat. We appreciate the engagement. I like this one right here from Bees. I'm thankful for that legendary painting behind Voida. I am too, man. Yeah. I love this thing.
You know what I'm thankful for, though?
What are you thankful
for? That lighting, dude. That lighting, you look beautiful. You look like Cindy Crawford. It's looking good.
Thank you. Oh, stop. It's about time,
I'm so
man.
dim over here now.
Yeah,
it's
you
so dark over here.
The light. So those of you watching, I got a new webcam. I'm trying it out, so we'll see.
Looks beautiful.
Apparently, Matthew really likes it. And to Suns Geek, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Iverson Vlogs, he's thankful for Booker being loyal. I think that's something that we should all be
thankful for. Did he take a look at my list coming up?
Preview to Matthew's list. All right, well, Matthew, start us off with number 3 thing that you are thankful for as we take a look at the Phoenix Suns this season.
All right. Season. Besides that beautiful light you have, the 3rd thing on this list, the top 3, I'm going to go just Booker's draft pick, the draft pick that selected Devin Booker to this team, and him signing that contract to stay here in Phoenix for the long term and the big money. That was a huge decision. Ever since then, everyone's trying to kick him out of here in Phoenix, saying he's not happy. He's never said a word, playing his video games, winning his off time, which is fantastic, getting along with the fans. So I am actually just really thankful that he signed that contract and was drafted to the Phoenix Suns.
I think it's, even though that's something that we were thankful for probably about 4 years ago, I think it's valid because this has been a very interesting offseason because we've heard a lot of that chatter, right? I was just looking at something the other day, and you forget in this day and age how fast information is always coming at us. We take in information, we process it, and then we shit it out the back end, and you don't really kind of think about it. And I was actually going back and looking at a couple articles on Bright Side of the Sun today, and there was one of those articles where Draymond Green during the NBA Finals was saying, "Get Booker the hell out of Phoenix.
Get my boy out of there."
Yeah, how funny the narrative has changed in such a small time, huh?
Isn't that weird? Sports, right?
Yeah, spurts. It's really crazy how those spurts stories change fairly quick. I mean, you also look at the Knicks, and Ryan Russillo 2 weeks ago, the worst kept secret is Booker wants out. So I'm thankful that you picked that as your number 3 because I think it's spot on. The fact that Devin Booker is being loyal, and as Iverson Vlogs said in the chat, he's thankful that he's loyal as well. It's something that we haven't really talked about a lot. We're so excited about a new draft pick, the new free agents and Jay Crowder and Dario Saric re-signing and the trade for CP3 that all of this truly revolves around Devin Booker and his loyalty. If he's somebody who hasn't showcased continually his steadfast loyalty to the Phoenix Suns organization, James Jones isn't going to make these moves around the league to try to bolster the lineup and give this guy an opportunity to win.
Exactly. You know how he does that? He keeps his mouth shut. Doesn't say a word, because you never know. You never know how things might turn around. Maybe he knew a year ago that, hey, we might get some players on this team. He wanted 2 years ago, he said, I want to create a super team here with two other guys. And he and Amina Housen fell out of his seat on the Dan Le Batard show, remained on the floor for like a segment because it was so funny. But you know what? We're one piece away from that super team with Chris Paul already on the team, the lineup we have, and Devin Booker. That's the way sports is. It happens. If you keep your mouth shut and you work hard, you can get what you want, man.
Isn't that like real life, though? I mean, think about the person in the office who's a little too loud, and then they wonder why that when that promotion comes around that they weren't the ones selected.
Exactly.
I've seen it happen time and time again. It's like when you do too much of this and not enough work, it shows. And you might think that just because you're the loudest in the room that you're the one who gets noticed the most. It's the guy who's he's working the fries. How's that Kanye song go?
I'm not sure. Sorry.
Oh, come on, man.
God damn it.
Why he's watching, watch him. He's going to make it to a Benz out of that Datsun. He got that ambition, baby. Look at his eyes. This week he's mopping floors. Next week it's
Someone
the fries.
snipped that. Someone snipped that. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I'm going back like Kanye 04. All right. Well, my first thing, number 3 on my list of things that I'm thankful for is I'm thankful for Jay Crowder and Dario Saric. I really believe that these signings round out our top 8 effectively and will be the key for the Suns' success as we move forward in 2021. I mean, you look at Crowder, okay? He adds toughness. He adds versatility. He can run, or the Suns and James and Monty Williams can run those small ball lineups with him at the 4, and they're going to be effective. He even though he's 6'6", and something I mentioned on our last pod, like, I forgot he's only 6'6" because he plays so much bigger. He can defend the post, he can defend the perimeter, and when you need to go small ball lineup, now you have that versatility. And what a great guy to have in practice, right? I mean, think of those stories we used to have about PJ Tucker and how he used to challenge a very young Devin Booker day in and day out in practice, and he'd make him grind and he'd make him earn every inch. He's going to be doing the same thing to this Phoenix Suns team. The better quality guys you have on that organization, the better they're all going to make each other. And then think about McHale and Cam Johnson as young guys in this league who are playing in the same position that he is and have the same kind of versatility. Granted, they're probably more talented, and truth be told, Mikal Bridges is a better defender. Cam Johnson's a better shooter. They both take traits of Jay Crowder and they extrapolate upon them. But now they got Jay Crowder in that locker room with him, teaching him how to be a veteran, teaching him how to act accordingly in that role within the space of the NBA. I think that's something that's fantastic. And then you look at Dario Saric. He wanted to be a part of this, man. Like, he's somebody who was a restricted free agent, had an opportunity to get offered by the Suns, and he's like, I'm taking that offer sheet, man. He wanted to come back. And you can never have enough wings, true. But you can never have too many hustle guys either. And I think that's very important. Dario Saric, we've talked about it before. He maximizes his talent, and he doesn't have a lot of it. But he's a hustle guy. And if he embraces that 6-man role, the versatility of this lineup, it's truly a dangerous lineup, man. It's something that I think is really – you're getting some pub from the national media on kind of what the Suns did, and it's nice to feel that again. But it's as you look at how James Jones has constructed this lineup, it's so versatile in so many different ways. And I think that Jay Crowder and Dario Saric are key cogs in that for the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, that's perfect, man. I love that because they are the challengers. And you forget Saric is young still, and he's going to learn a lot from Jay Crowder. But also, too, like everyone else young on this team is going to follow Jay Crowder, too, as well, and Dario Saric because of the hard work. And that's why everyone that's still on the team is still in this team because of the same mindset. They're all ready to work. They're all going to challenge each other, and these two are perfect fits for that.
No, spot on. I mean, that's what is going to make this team just better and better because you needed a couple of those veterans in there. You got Chris Paul to kind of lead the guards, and then you got Jay Crowder to kind of assist on the wing side of it all. Yeah. And then I think H1 Moore, he's over 30 as well. So I mean, those are kind of your 3 veteran guys, and I think that they're all going to assist in different roles that are going to be beneficial for this young squad, but 1 year older squad.
Yeah, exactly, man. And I mean, I don't want to make things too serious, but my number 2 on this list is Booker dating a Kardashian / Jenner, and no drama. I am so
because he
thankful
keeps
for the
his mouth
non-drama.
shut.
Exactly, and I love that so much. He can do whatever he wants in his personal life. Any other NBA player, this would have been a disaster already. But what is this, like almost year 2 of this dating, or has it been a year? It seems like 2 years of this, but nothing bad has happened. She can come along for the ride with the Suns. They can hang out. They can do whatever they want because it doesn't translate to the court. It doesn't translate to any drama. We got CP3. The best thing that happened to the Suns franchise in a long time while he was dating a Jenner. So I just want to say thank you, Booker, for keep doing what you do and just keeping the drama out. And I hope this doesn't jinx anything, but that's my second one I'm thankful for. It's it's something that I feel like every Suns fan should be thankful for, right?
Well, we should be thankful that, yeah, this is a pretty drama-free relationship, especially considering that family. So completely agree with that.
I love doing these. You're just like, what? Like, God, like every time we do these lists.
Well, yeah, we're supposed to. We're supposed to come up with stupid stuff. All right, my second one is I'm thankful for the new facility, Matthew.
Yes.
I drove by it the other day.
Did you?
Unfortunately, I had a family member passed away, so I went to a funeral last week.
Yeah.
And the gravesite is very close to where I grew up in the Arcadia area in Phoenix. Mm-hmm. So I was trying to kill some time before I had to go, and my cousin was with me. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take a look at this place. And it's gorgeous, man. It is beautiful. It's like I said, it's in Arcadia, and I went to Arcadia High School, so I know that area very well. In fact, I grew up rollerblading across the street from where it's currently located. Aggressive rollerblading, okay, fruit booting,
aggressive. I've seen the highlights. I've seen some vids. That's pretty good stuff.
Us late '90s kids in high school, early 2000s kids, we were out there grinding rails, and it was, but I literally did it across the street from where the Suns facility is now. And then as you're driving the facility, as you're pulling out of it, you look and there's just Camelback Mountain, and Camelback Mountain at sunset, because of the iron in the dirt, turns like red, and it is just gorgeous. And I know that they have some like jacuzzis on that side of the building that are on 44th Street. And it's such a beautiful facility. And it's really going to make us the destination. There's no doubt about it. Like, it's high tech. They've got the 150 cameras that are like constantly monitoring them as they're working out. So they know when they're getting tired, and they, so it'll help in body recovery and fatigue and avoidance. And like I said, at dusk, it's just, you bring somebody in there who's a free agent. If you're smart, you're bringing them in right at dusk. You're walking through the facility for the first hour, and you get to that back room that's facing Camelback Mountain, and you see it go down, and you're like, this is Phoenix, Arizona, where the sun sets. Even though the sun sets in the west and you're looking east, the east is fire too, and it's just beautiful. And I don't know what $45 million would feel like, but I assume that $45 million well spent on that facility. It's one thing that I'm thankful for, because it's going to be a clincher, man. I think back to Blake Griffin using us, and I think to LaMarcus Aldridge coming in July, 2015, I want to say that was. Yeah. And they used us, and they came in that we just couldn't sell them on anything.
Exactly, dude. I love your pick at number 2, man. And plus, what I love about it is how we're seeing all these signings right now by the rookies, and you see everyone else's facility, and they almost look the same, where they have the conference room and then like the basketball courts on the bottom floor. So the conference room on the top, and to the back, you can see everything else. That's the way it's supposed to be. And you just think about the dump before. I never do. I wasn't in the dark on this. I didn't know it was supposed to be. I'm like, why doesn't anybody want to come here? And now it's just like, this helps so much, man. What a great number 2 by you.
Well, thank you. All right. What do you got number 1? This has got to be good.
Yeah, it's good. Actually, I feel like we've already talked about it too much already, but I'm just going to bring it up again. But my number 1 is Booker just being committed here, man, through all the BS.
So yours is Booker.
Yeah, because I'm so thankful for Booker. This whole thing is because of Booker being here and putting up with the BS, especially when Monty pointed at him in the locker room after the 8-0 run that they had in the bubble, saying how he's been through so much. But yeah, he's still here. He's still here fighting it out because he just kept his head down, like we said, and he fought. He knew he was the face of the franchise. He's not going to listen to anybody. He's going to do what he wants here. And he has great relationships with every NBA player, basically. Everybody seems to love him, seems to like him. Everyone seems to love our coaching staff. Everything he's done up to this point has been worth it. And I thank him for that, for getting through it. And he's been through a lot. And I want to know, I mean, it seems like a great life he's already had for years, but NBA-wise, it's not been the greatest. So I thank him for just sticking through it for us as fans.
So thank him for being loyal. Thank him for porking a Jenner and not making a big deal about it. And thank him for sticking it out.
Yeah, so he's a pig. You made it.
There you go. That's live from Matthew Lissy on the Suns Jam Session podcast. No, I agree with you. Again, I'll echo what I said a little bit earlier. I mean, we are who we are because we have Devin Booker on this team. We have a chance because through all the bullshit that Ryan McDonough put us through, man, because you go back and I think that somebody posted, obviously McDonough posted something the other day about how he wants every Kelly Oubre jersey in every color and size in Golden State. That was one of his tweets. It's like, shut up, Ryan McDonough. Like, always him and Amin Al-Hassan just have to get little digs in at Sarver. It's just what they do. And I don't blame him. Like, Sarver has definitely earned it due to kind of his conduct and the way that he's treated individuals and the way that he does business throughout the year. So don't get me wrong. Like, it's actually kind of comical because we're coming out of the shadow of the McDonough era. And the only thing that's left is Devin Booker. I mean, yes, you have Mikal Bridges and you have DeAndre Ayton, but at that time, James Jones was also the assistant GM, so he had a little of his fingerprints on that. But knowing that Devin Booker turned out the way that he did, I'm still so happy the way that turned out because we've had so many top 10 lottery picks over the past few years, and the fact that only one really hit is depressing. And the one who hit was the 13th pick. It's like
it's not even, exactly.
It's not even top 10.
Oh man, we continue to like want those top picks, and I don't know what we were doing back then.
Well, we wanted picks because we sucked, so we were just
I know.
Okay, well, maybe next year.
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly. What was your number one?
My number one thing that I'm thankful for in the 2020-2021 season prior to its beginning is I'm thankful to be excited, Matthew. Last year had promise, and I wouldn't say we were necessarily excited about the prospect of potentially making the playoffs. As the season began, we were excited. Were you excited at the beginning of last season?
Yeah. I mean, I always get excited, but not.
But it's a different type of excitement.
This is different.
Exactly. Now, remember how we felt after the Suns went 5-2?
Yeah, that was exciting.
Yes. So exactly, because right after the Suns went 5-2 to start the season last year, you and I did one of our very first podcasts, and I asked you, if we don't make the playoffs this year, is this year a failure? And what did you say?
I said yes, right? Because
Correct.
The expectations were so high.
Exactly. We are now at that point to begin this season where we were after 7 games last year. Last year, the team was great at the beginning. And we're like, holy shit, if we don't make the playoffs, like this season's, it's a wash. But then we realized as the season progressed, and obviously we came back down to earth with injuries and after injury, after suspension, after bloody injury, that, hey, as long as there's progression, as long as we're winning more than 19 games, if we win over 30 games, because that was my tipping point to you. I said either it's the playoffs or 30 games, like which is, kind of more realistic and which is their less disappointment. Obviously, playoffs is the answer to that one. But now we're starting this season kind of where we were then, where there's truly and utterly expectation, where if we don't make the playoffs this year, it is a disappointment. It truly is. Yeah. We're primed. Everybody is giving us kind of some national recognition, which is something you don't normally see. Raymond Gonzalez in the chat, I'm thankful for the national recognition the Suns are getting.
Do you really like that, though?
Yes and no.
I mean, it's going to happen if we're winning either way. But like being a Cowboys fan, like it sucks always to hear about the Cowboys. I mean, I love being a Suns fan, like because they're like my number one. Just because the media doesn't talk about them, but when they do, Rachel Nichols is like Sons of Anarchy, like the 2 times a year. So I don't know. I mean, you can go back to what you were saying. Sorry.
Well, no, but I do like national recognition. Of course you do. You want to have your team. It sucks watching Sports Center and the Suns are like the last highlight if they even show it. You know what I mean? Versus when watching the Nash days, we were with a top 3 story every night. People wanted to talk about the Phoenix Suns. It's more engaging. Especially now because there's Twitter, because there wasn't Twitter when Steve Nash was really playing. 2010, his last playoff run is like the Suns. I think the Phoenix Suns Twitter account had been formed a year before. So, I mean, there was no true engagement that we had like we do now. So it's been kind of frustrating and depressing over these past 10 years to watch all these teams and their fan bases have this ability to connect with each other. And we're sitting on the sidelines connecting with each other in a depressing manner. This is the first time there's a ripple of happiness and excitement going through Suns Twitter, Suns Facebook, Suns fandom of positivity. And like, we're all kind of just like shyly smiling because we know that reality can hit real quick. And we know, until we actually are in those playoffs that you can't, nothing is reality until it's real.
Well, you're definitely right. And the Cowboys thing, I'm sorry about that. It's just they're brought up all the time, and they end up.
Well, that's
just losing.
different though. That's America's team. Like, there's an expectation with that.
I know, but what I'm saying is like, so if they make the playoffs or whatever, there's so much talk and so much. Oh yeah, we're gonna get through our game plan, or whatever, and they lose. The thing is with the Suns, it's like as soon I already forgot my thought. Let's just move on.
Well, to finish my thought, I want, plenty needs to happen in order for the Suns to be truly relevant. But I'm thankful to feel a sense of relevancy once again. To when you listen to the Low Post, when you listen to the Bill Simmons podcast, the only time they ever bring up the Suns is in some passe manner.
Yeah.
Now we're getting mentioned, kind of in the top 30 minutes of the show. It's fun. It's exciting.
It is.
It's long overdue.
And like, I trust this team not to get too involved when like hear so much of it. They're going to just do their own thing. And I think like Monte and James Jones, they're going to put them to work and they're going to get the job done. It's not going to be too much of them listening to the media. I think they're their own team. You know what I mean? They're not going to let it get inside their head. That's what I can trust them with.
Well, and that goes back to your Booker points. That's who Booker is, and that's kind of the personification of this organization. James Jones, extremely tight-lipped. Monty Williams, extremely tight-lipped and engaging when he does his interviews, but very kind of, doesn't let you know what his cards are in his hand. They're not sitting there, when we had got Earl Watson was a guy who I feel like he would show one too many cards in his deck when he'd be doing interviews. And those are the kind of things that would affect players. Igor Kokoschkov would do it too. He's like, I just can't get through to Josh Jackson or DeAndre Ayton. And now we're okay. Now they're not winning. And now it's that ripple effect of, okay, the locker room's messed up. And okay, now it's Sarver again because he didn't choose the right. So it's like this constant negativity around the organization where, to your point, Devin Booker, tight-lipped. I'm all about the business, baby. Chris Paul, all about the business, baby. And selling State Farm. Monty Williams, James Jones, all about the business, baby. And that's what we're doing going into this season. And, and for these reasons, I'm thankful.
Yes.
One thing, Nicholas Tan, thankful for D-Book for sticking with us. So another person who agrees with you. Thankful for James Jones for making good decisions. And thankful for Rubio and Oubre for bringing that spark to start the fire. Nick Tan, that's a great way to say that.
Even if they left in a little bit of a negative way, of course. That's the way it is, I guess, always. I don't know. It kind of sucks the way they left. But hey, we're going to talk about it coming right up.
Yep, very shortly. And one last thing I wanted to throw out there before we do talk about that. I see here in the chat, Vincent Stefanelli. Thankful that you fellas do this show. We really appreciate that. And that's one thing. I'm thankful for our listeners, man. I really am. They're like, there's like 10 different Suns pods out there. Seems like there's a new one every day. And between that and listening to all the other national podcasts, you take the time to tune in and listen to what we have to say. I'm honored, I'm humbled, and I'm thankful that you guys do that. I really am. It's nothing short of awesome.
Exciting. I get so pumped up. I cannot wait till John sends me the invite to get on this thing because the way we do it now live with the comments, it's so much better than just recording and throwing it out there. I love the interaction. I love everyone giving it back. So just keep it up, and we'll keep going too as well.
Thank you very much. All right, so I didn't even put up my little giving thanks thing.
Oh, how cute was that?
Little turkeys. I forgot to put that on. All right, it's time, Matthew. We got to talk about the Oubre saga. It's not something necessarily I want to talk about, considering we're focusing on so much on positivity. But unfortunately, since Kelly Oubre has left the Phoenix Suns and he's joined that fraternity of ex-players who have not so flattering comments about the organization. We're going to talk about those specific comments here in a bit, but initially, hearing some of the comments via different interviews that he's had with magazines and radio stations, how does that make you feel?
Well, I actually didn't hear the whole interview, so I can't really criticize him too much. I can't make too much judgment. Only judgment from what I've heard and from the comments we're going to discuss now. But I've never actually listened to the whole interviews. I've always wanted to. I just couldn't get to them this week. So my apologies on that. It might be taken out of context, some of it, like it always is. There's always stuff missing and everything. But honestly, the relationship between Kelly Oubre and the Phoenix Suns, it looked like from the outside, it looked like something cute, something great. It had that fire. It's that couple. It's basically the couple you see that looks so great, the great hair, the great body. That was the Suns going last year. That was the Suns, basically. And then, you just see that photo be ripped. It's like ripped in half. Both those two are just cut straight in half, just like the documentaries you see on Netflix. How it's always like a photo ripped in half always. That's the way it turned out to be. And that's the way a lot of the things behind the scenes we didn't see come out. And for Kelly to actually just comment on it kind of sucks because he had such a great year with the Suns. He got such a good opportunity. I wish he would just took it to the Warriors. kept his head down like we talked about Booker, and not really even speak about anything that happened with him in the front office and assuming how people feel about him. I think that he left the Suns fans in a good position. He's in a good position. Like, what is there to complain about, really? Anything behind the scenes, you can fix that yourself. I just don't like any blame put on anybody else. My voice cracked a little bit, but besides that, I mean, I can't really take this too much out of context because I haven't listened to it. But I mean, what do you think, John? Did you listen to the whole interviews or just these little snips?
I listened to a couple of the interviews, and then I read a lot. Dave King put together a good piece on Bright Side of the Sun, so that's kind of what I utilize as a true point of reference. And It's just, I think what's unfortunate is just it happened so quick. It's like, we are still kind of in that morning mode of, man, like, we're excited about the Suns, but man, it sucks that Kelly Oubre had to go and Ricky Rubio. Like, we grew really attached to these players, and they provided that identity. I mean, that's why the great Kelly debate went on all summer long for Suns fans. Do you get rid of him? Do you keep him? Do you wait till the middle of next year and see how the Suns are doing? He meant something to us, and it's kind of like, you know, like you said, it's that perfect sexy couple. You know, it's kind of like if you're in a relationship and the person breaks up with you, or you break up with the person, either way, and literally like 2 days later, they're just talking shit about you on social media. Like, it hurts, you know? And it's like, I don't know if you could ever truly mend that. Now, granted, a lot of some of these are justified. You know, we'll bring up some of these quotes here momentarily, but some of it is justified. You know, the way Robert Sarver does business, like I said, I mean, there's been McDonough took a shot yesterday, and the assumption was it was at Sarver, but, you know, he was referencing a time when Sarver asked him why he paid too much, or why his cell phone bill was so much. It's petty little shit like that Sarver does that just rubs people the wrong way. It's like, you want me to run your organization and you're asking me about my cell phone bill being like $300. Like, I'm the GM of the Phoenix fucking Suns. So there's things in that context that Kelly Oubre, when given the opportunity, spoke upon. And it's unfortunate because, again, that's not aligned with our culture. Again, Devin Booker, tight-lipped. Monty Williams, tight-lipped. James Jones, tight-lipped. Kelly Oubre, his first chance in the new city, he starts, you know, driving the bus a little bit. So here's what he said about on how he was perceived as a player. He said, obviously, I had a great year statistic-wise, but I had a lot of just misunderstandings of who I was as a competitor. Because I was trying to lead a group, or try my best to be a vocal leader on a group that really didn't understand how to make it to that next step. Obviously, me being of the same age as everybody, it was just kind of like, you know, bro, it was just kind of like a lot of pushback. You know, so essentially what he's saying is he was trying to be the vocal leader of a team of peers, and that wasn't necessarily well received as that was his place. And I guess my question for you, Matthew, is do you feel that leadership was a strength of Kelly Oubre when he was with us?
When he was with us, maybe, but it's kind of like a funny kind of leadership. You know, he led the Suns into the Valley Boys thing. He gave us some kind of pop, which was great, that kind of leadership. But on the court and stuff, I don't know. I'm not behind the scenes. I'm not there working with the guys. But for what I see on the court, it's Kelly Oubre. He's a fun guy. He does the head bobs. He does the push-ups. It's stuff to where I watch. I'm like, you know what? It might not be so serious. It's just all fun and games. That's what I see in a way. I'm not saying that the guys didn't look up to him, but if you're going to be a leader and you want to be a leader in the future, the only way I would say is just don't talk about how you try to be a leader and they didn't follow. Just keep working at it. People will follow. And I think that he tried to be a leader, and if some people did look up to him, that's good. But if some didn't, it's fine. He's still younger. And I feel like he's going to have a lot of winning success in Golden State. And if he just keeps working, he can be that leader he wants to be. But I don't like him thinking that he was something and he wasn't. Maybe he was. I think he's just thinking too much about this. And I think that he was a leader in the way of leading the Suns and the fans out of the dirt. And he did a great job by that. And it's in a fun way. If he wants to be a more serious leader, I don't think that's anything he can do now, but maybe in the future, of course. But I mean, like, what did you think, man? Do you think he was a leader or not?
Well, I don't. I think that, like you said, he was a fantastic role player. He's never won anything to kind of say, hey, guys, get behind me and let me show you the way to winning. I mean, Mikal Bridges has a better opportunity to do that than he does because he won a couple national championships. I think that and how you prefaced it was, very astute. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know how he's perceived by his teammates. I don't know how he wants to be perceived. It sounds like Kelly is a very cerebral guy and he's a thinker, and we know that. I mean, remember he deleted his Instagram and his Twitter, when people kind of gave him a little shit about whatever it was, so he takes things personal, and that's how he kind of responds to things. So you look at him in the context of who the Phoenix Suns were last year, and I don't think that he was a leader. I know he was vocal, he was loud, but being, like I said earlier, being the loudest guy doesn't make you, the automatic leader. The guy in the office who's the loudest guy and is the cheerleader is a great motivator and is a great guy to work with, but you probably don't go to him when, the shit hits the fan and like it starts getting crazy busy. You probably go to the guy who's got the slow, steady hand, like Ricky Rubio did, and said, hey, here's how to be calm in these tough situations. Because generally those guys, when it gets crazy, they crumble under that pressure.
Exactly, man. And that guy in the office too, if his pants are ripped, no one's going to tell him because they don't like him. So,
well,
that's not Kelly at all.
Well, but if he's doing the push-ups and everything, you're like, okay, I'm not going to tell that guy, And I don't feel like it was expected of him to be a leader either. And I think that's where kind of the misconception was. It's not like he was 3 years older than all these guys and he was the veteran presence on this team. He was the same age as all these guys. He's hanging out with them being boys. It's like, have you ever worked in a situation where you have one of your coworkers becomes a supervisor?
Yeah.
It's
like a friend.
Yeah, it's tough for that individual because, you're boys with them and now you're trying to hold me accountable. And it sounds like within the confines of this roster, he wanted to assume that role. And then Monty Williams probably thought otherwise, like, no, man, you're one of the boys. That's not a bad thing. You're one of the boys, but it's interesting that that's something that he brought up.
Yeah, I don't know why he's making it a negative. It's not. I feel like he led it in a good way. Better than any other player, I feel like, in a long time on that team.
But again, context, that's just kind of reading a quote, not hearing the context of the conversation to where he might not have been complaining at all. Yeah. All right. So on his role of the creation of the Valley Boys, he said, that's something I created, went through all the legal processes about it all, just went through trying to help a city come up from the ashes. Thank you for that, Kelly Oubre. That'll always be an energy that's in the air. I can continuously be proud of that. When I look back at who the Valley Boys were, who the Valley Boys are, I think they changed the Valley Boys to the fellas. And they can have that, man, the fellas.
What up, fellas?
So, which is how would you feel if when the Suns take the court in the Valley Boys jerseys and Kelly Oubre is not in one? Like, are you going to think of Kelly Oubre when you see those jerseys every time, or are you just going to,
No, like every other Suns fan, we kind of moved on already. I mean, it is the Valley. It's not Valley Boys. Plus, like the Valley Boys, he should have left this quote just like, I continuously just want to be proud about the situation he created. Just leave it at that. That's fine.
You did throw a little dig in at the fellas.
Yeah, I feel like the more and more we go through this, it's kind of like, hey, so when you come back, if we have fans in the arena, do you want to get booed? Because we will boo Kelly Oubre if it gets to the point where he doesn't stop talking.
Suns fans will boo anyone, man.
They will. But at this point, it was like Rubio and Oubre would come back. I don't feel like there would be booing. It would be a lot of cheers, maybe some tears, some of that. But the Valley Boys thing, I mean, the Valley jerseys are fine. I don't think of Kelly when I see it really. Valley Boys merch was something that didn't even really get up and going because of the whole legal thing.
Yeah.
Plus, like the whole thing. When he created the merch, it was really a cheesy logo. It wasn't that great at first. A lot of people complained. It was just a ripoff, basically. So, I mean, I think the money went to a good place. I'm not too sure. But besides that, I mean, just say you created that and then move on and be proud of it.
Nah, you hit the nail on the head there. Like, no reason to throw that dig in there. So I'll leave that one alone. The next one, this is the most interesting one though to me. I mean, there's the dig on Sarver afterwards, but this is what Kelly had to say on playing on the bubble, and that's one of those things. I mean, we had podcasts about that. Is Kelly not playing in the bubble because he's not comfortable enough to do so after coming back from a meniscus tear? Is he not playing in the bubble because he wants to preserve himself because free agency is going to be coming up a year from now and he doesn't want to ding himself as an asset? Or is he not playing the bubble because he's hurt? I mean, these are the questions that we were constantly asking, and people were drawing lines in the sand on that. And this is what Kelly Oubre had to say about playing in the bubble. He said, I could either push it, help this team go 8-0 and gives ourselves the fighting chance to make it to the playoffs, which they did that without me. If I was there, would it have made any difference? Because as you can see, if you go back and look, all the guys were playing with that fire and that energy that I played with all year, trying to help the team to get to the playoffs. I felt like I was still playing, even though I wasn't, because guys were playing with that same intensity. But I didn't want to risk me coming back off injury, not being my full potential, and then people blaming me for things that I necessarily had no control over. So it was a lot of spiritual warfare going on. But I was there. I was there in all, supporting and rooting these guys on and just helping out when I could. But for me to be able to play, man, I just didn't feel comfortable coming back from that injury when I didn't have any time to really get my mind about how I was feeling. So that's what happened.
Yeah.
Tell me how you digested that. Is that code for Oubre saying I didn't want to play?
I mean, I think it's just a lot of talk. Just basically, every Suns fan knew, like, hey, whatever you got to do, you got to do. It's the bubble. Everyone had their exceptions. You know what I mean? We didn't blame Kelly for anything. So if he is saying that like people didn't understand or they didn't know what he was going through, I don't believe that too much on our end. To where we have podcasts and then there's other podcasts and you listen to any show, I don't feel like anybody bashed Oubre because honestly, he did the right thing for him and the organization. We still went 8-0. Even if we didn't, it's fine. We understood what he was doing, dude. But I think he just didn't want to play, but I think he's just kind of overblowing it a little bit. It kind of reminds me of like when LeBron James is like going into this year where he's just like, everyone thinks I can't play anymore. It's like, oh yeah, who is that?
Yeah,
who's
that?
saying you can't play anymore?
Give me my damn respect. It's like
yeah.
who Kendrick Perkins, the only guy, Paul Pierce, not giving you respect.
Dude.
That's it. So
unless it's people behind the scenes, unless it's people behind the scenes that are just saying like, hey, like you should be there for us. Maybe that's what's going on. But I feel like every Suns fan and media outlook had no take on that. I don't think.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting because again, it was that mental struggle that he was going back. He didn't want to get blamed. Okay,
yes.
he didn't feel comfortable coming back when he didn't really have time to get his mind around how he was feeling. So a lot of that kind of cerebral feeling or navigating his feelings during that time frame. And again, like we all as Suns fans, good, bad, or indifferent, said, you know, if he's not going to play, he's not going to play, man. That's okay. Because
exactly
if that means that we get a healthier Oubre next year, then so be it. And it just so happened that we went 8-0 and the Suns realized how expendable he really was.
Exactly, dude. And that's how it works in the NBA, man. That's why you can't take it too hard. You know what I mean? You're going to go to the next spot and you just keep working, man.
No, absolutely. And you keep your head down and you work hard. And I think that's, you know, Oubre doesn't like to keep his head down. He likes to bob it around and shit. I like the Raymond Gonzalez in the chat. What was that chant when we played in Boston? John Wall traded you. Remember that? Yeah, John Wall traded.
Was that in Indiana? I think that was Indiana, right?
Maybe. It was when we played. It's got to be Boston.
I think it was Indiana because it shows just like their fans just know everything about sports. I swear it's Indiana.
Okay, well,
it's still a cool chant. I might be wrong.
Yeah, and again,
he'll reply here in a second.
Yeah.
Every time we talk about LeBron, he always brings up LeBron.
LeBron's not as good as MJ. So says Jay. Kelly's a punk ass bitch. That's it, plain and simple. Oh. All right, get it, Justin. Get it.
I love it, dude.
I love it.
Very honest.
You know, the last thing on Kelly Oubre is the comments he made on Sarver, and he said, I love this. You just hit the nail on the head, yeah. Oubre said on his appearance on the Damon Ratto and Kaliski on 95.7 The Game. That's for those of you who don't know, we typically say you just hit the nail on the head. It's kind of my continual quote to Matthew because he always hits the nail on the head. He would be a great carpenter. I can play for an owner, somebody who can actually cares about the organization, not just the perception of the organization on the media end of it. It's all about the foundation for me, man. You have a beautiful foundation. You can build a future. Justified?
Am I like reading this like out of context? Like, what kind of perception do we have from the media that we play like shit and we're a shit organization? Is that what Sarver's trying to keep up? Is that what he's saying?
Well, yeah, the way he says it is like
the perception of our organization is shit.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like,
I want to play for somebody who actually cares about the organization, not just the perception.
The perception's bad.
Yeah, I don't think Sarver cares about the perception. Does he?
I don't think so. He obviously does not care. That's why this quote was kind of weird. Maybe he mixed it up a little bit. Oh, mixed it up.
Yeah, I again, it's one of those things where between, you know, Amin Al-Hassan, Ryan McDonough, you know, now Kelly Oubre, it's just everybody who leaves Phoenix wants to take a shot at Sarver. And again, it's right. It's justified. I think it is.
Yeah, it's Robert a big man thing to do, right?
The big man thing to do is just shut the fuck up and carry on, you know? But I think that Robert Sarver's done it to himself. But what he's also done is he stepped away. He's let James Jones manage this organization. He's opened up his checkbook and given us that brand new, beautiful facility over there on 44th Street in Camelback. He's signing players, and he's allowing the Suns to near the thing called the luxury tax. I mean, it's worth it. It's worth it for him to try to do what he's doing. And it's unfortunate that Kelly Oubre was not part of those plans, but you know what? That's business, baby. And we've moved on, and it's time for everybody to say, you know, bid adieu to Kelly Oubre. I think he's going to wear number 12 in Golden State.
Yeah, he got number 12 back, right?
Yeah, he got number 12 back. So be it, man. Like, Kelly, thank you for everything that you did here, man. Thank you. And I can't wait to beat your ass on the court.
Yeah,
and
thank you. Yeah.
By me, I mean the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah, exactly. But also, Kelly, just don't be a Dwight Howard, man. Just go in a situation. Just don't be weird about stuff and so insecure. Because Dwight Howard's probably one of the most insecure players.
Well,
out
Kelly's
there.
up there, man.
Just don't be that guy, man. Just be strong, you know?
Don't be
I
that
don't know
guy.
why am I saying this stuff? Like he's my son. Or
You're
something.
trying to motivate Dwight and
I don't
Kelly.
even talk
like
to my
it.
son.
I know you don't. Well, let's talk about thoughts. Brains? Oh, obviously Thanksgiving is tomorrow, and I just want to get your thoughts on a few things, Matthew.
Oh, you got some food questions?
Oh, of course. And if you're watching live in the
right.
chat, maybe you can answer these along with me. What is your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
All right. This is gonna be my sister Stephanie's apple pie. It is the best homemade pie I've ever had in my life.
Okay.
It's a dessert, but it's the thing I look forward to the most. Other than that, the
Is
other
it the
entree,
crust? Is it the filling?
it's everything. It's like perfectly layered out. Usually you don't want too much filling. There's not too much filling. The crust is perfectly. What she does is she puts it in the freezer so it's a little bit frozen, a little bit cold,
Okay.
and it's just so good, dude. It's perfect. What about you? What's your favorite, man?
Cheese, cauliflower.
Oh yeah. I should have guessed.
Yes. My mom makes the best cheese cauliflower. It's cauliflower with cheese whiz, and that's all it is. And you just slow cook it for like 4 hours. And then the great thing is you can eat it for 2 weeks afterwards. It's a great side dish. The disadvantage of it is it's like liquid cheese and cauliflower, and you just like fart all the time.
Oh, well, that's no different than any other day, right, John?
Yeah. No different than any other day. All right, so what's the worst dish?
Turkey, dude. Turkey's the worst. Turkey, unless you fry it. Unless you fry that turkey just
it's
and
called
maybe it's
turkey
just my
day.
family. Yeah, I know, but maybe it's my family just can't make some good turkey. But it's really just dry. You gotta cover, you gotta smother that thing. And it's just smother that thing and whatever. Just give it some taste.
Wow.
What do you
it's
think?
turkey day. And a lot
of people don't like turkey.
Vincent Stefanelli in the chat. My sister's Mostacoli. I don't even know what that is. I don't know.
Mastacali.
I'm Irish.
Mastacali.
I don't know.
That
He's gonna have
good.
to explain in the chat because I'm Irish and German. Like I drink beer and shepherd's pie.
Yeah.
And then so says
I'm
Jay
European.
Lumpia.
Oh, sorry. Lumpia.
Yeah.
Oompa lumpia.
People are,
What
I
is
think,
that?
just making up words.
I think so too. Take this pod serious.
Come on, no. the worst dish on Thanksgiving. Like I don't ever eat the canned cranberry stuff. If you got the real cranberries, I'll do it. But like the canned cranberry, I just don't like it. It is fun
just lazy.
It is lazy. Like make the real shit.
Get in that kitchen.
You know, but gravy is a close number 2 for me.
Okay.
As far as good stuff,
Weirdo.
like, I put gravy on everything.
As good stuff.
As good stuff.
I thought you were gonna say it's not. Oh my god.
All right. So
the
question:
gravy's in this part.
Is ham acceptable on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I think so. I just like turkey. I don't like it too much, but So you
don't like meat?
No, I like.
Fuck. What meat is acceptable on Thanksgiving? Hot dogs.
I like flavorful meat. I like meat that has some taste to it.
So what? Chicken?
Yeah, I don't know. As long as it has taste, I'm down.
Wow.
Do you not like ham? What? Why is this?
No.
What happened? What happened in the house over there?
No. I get into a lot of arguments with my general manager about ham on Thanksgiving, and he's like, "Nope, that's a Christmas dish, and Thanksgiving's turkey." No, man, you can never have too much meat. I love ham.
Those people.
Yes, and I'm not one of them. I'm an equal opportunity meat eater. I will have turkey. I will have ham. I don't care. I will smash on anything. Yeah. In fact, we picked out a honey baked ham that we're bringing over tomorrow. So get ready for that.
That thing's good.
Delicious.
That thing's like $150 or something, right?
Worry about it, okay? That's
all right.
That's coming from us. Vincent Stefano said it's Italian pasta with red sauce and sausage. That sounds delicious.
Yeah, that
sounds delicious.
Whatever the name was. Yeah.
That sounds delicious. And all right, and my last our thoughts question for you before we get to some mailbag, before we get out of here. What will the final score of the Cowboys game be tomorrow, Matthew?
Oh, it's going to be 2-0, ending with a double play. I think that's how it's going to end.
They're going to end it with a double play.
Yes.
and you're the Cowboys fan. You're playing the Washington football team.
Yeah, yep. Hold on. Yep, I had to mute that. But
yes, so says Jay, I figured it was a Filipino Thanksgiving because I know that you were Filipino.
See, I don't know that.
So what's the final score of the Cowboys
game?
Golf
with them. 2-0. No, I think the Cowboys win, dude. Cowboys are back on track. They won last week against the Minnesota Vikings. They're going to come in here. They're going to take this one. They're going to eat those turkey legs after the game. John Madden's going to be risen from the death. And I can't wait to watch, dude.
Is John Madden dead? He's not dead.
Yeah, he is.
John Madden's not dead. No
Yes,
way.
he is. He's died a long time ago, dude.
No, I'm Googling it right now.
John
Madden
Madden's
is not dead.
Yeah, it came up right away, 2017.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah, 2017, right?
I do not see this. No,
Wait,
he's still alive, dude.
Why is it
Still
saying-
alive.
Did I just kill John Madden?
He's 84. Turducken, bitch.
How come we don't hear from him anymore?
Well, because
John
he's
Madden's the
turducken.
Oh,
He's like, well, if you need 10 yards for first down, you should get
the
10
best,
yards.
though.
He was the best
announcer,
at stating the obvious.
Yeah.
Well, I think that the Cowboys will win against the Washington football team in I don't know, by 3.5 points.
Cowboys are gonna lose. It's gonna be a blowout. But the Redskins are gonna kill them, dude. Yeah, 99-0.
99-0.
Maybe 99-2. Who knows?
Well, that's it for our thoughts segment. Thank you for playing along with us. Let's take a look at some of our mailbag questions. Now, remember, you can email the show, sunsjamsession@gmail.com. You can visit sunsjamsession.com, or you can hit us up on Twitter @sunsjam. Somebody brought this up. What do you think of BJ Johnson, who is the forward the Suns just signed today?
Dude, this is the biggest signing, I think, of the Suns. Since Chris Paul, a guy who's played on 4 teams, I think, in 3 years. But I mean, what's cool is we actually got a wing, though. I feel like we've been signing so many point guards and bigs. It's like, don't we need a little bit of wing depth? And this guy might help. But he's a G League guy, 10-day contract guy. So we'll see.
I just when this question came through, I was actually kind of surprised. I'm like, oh man, we signed somebody else. But yeah, he's 6'7", small
that's
forward.
What I thought too. I was like, what?
He's played 17 games in his career, so what do I think of him? Not much. I mean, he went to Lower Merion High School, which is where Kobe went. But again, it's just James Jones trying to add some of that depth that we potentially might need and try people out and see if they've kind of fit within the confines of our system. Somebody also asked this question. They said, "What do you think of this trade that we found?" Oh, and I'm sorry. That previous question was from ForceMaster76 on Twitter. This next one, I forget who sent this to us, but they said, "What do you think of this trade? The Knicks receive center Damian Jones, point guard Cameron Payne, small forward Abdel Nader, and the 2022 second-round pick for the Suns. And the Suns get Dennis Smith Jr."
Ooh, that guy. Remember when we wanted him?
Yes. Yeah, the guy was a former Maverick.
Yeah, I know. I was just like, we wanted a point guard to go along Devin Booker. He was the guy that we kind of wanted. Then he went to the New York Knicks to die. So I don't know how it's going with his career. I know he's like averages 14 points a game. You can Google that stuff, but
yeah,
I don't even know where he would fit now because head wise, like how he is mentally, that is a big factor with the Suns now. So I don't see the fit.
I think it's kind of if the deal works, anybody who's playing in New York, you don't truly know what their potential is. Miss Angelina in the chat, Dennis Smith is so dope. Yeah, I'm a big fan. You were a big fan too, Matthew. Like we both like Dennis Smith. Now imagine so essentially what you're doing is you're giving up Damian Jones. So you're giving up that third, guy behind Ayton, essentially, who might play some second, depending on how Jalen Smith plays. You're giving up Cameron Payne, who in my opinion's third on the totem pole behind CP3 and Javon Carter. You're giving Abdel Nader, who's kind of on the bottom of the totem pole as well, as far as the depth chart is concerned. You're giving up a 2022 second-round pick, and you're getting Dennis Smith. I think that's something that, I mean, again, I don't know kind of Dennis Smith Jr.'s state of mind and how he's been playing as a member of the Knicks, because let's face it, anybody who's playing there is not playing very well. But I think
I love how you say that. It's just so depressing. Yeah,
it is. I mean, it really is. But you look at it. I mean, he's making $5.6 million this year, and he's a free agent next year. So, it gives you a little bit of flexibility. It gives you somebody who has some potential and maybe fits within the confines of the culture. We just don't know if that's the case. But I'd actually be open to that trade.
Well, he wouldn't want the role too. I mean, would you want him more than Javon Carter? Because Carter's a number 2 for sure. If Dennis Smith comes in, I mean, maybe he can play the number 2 as well as maybe he has in his. I don't know. I haven't watched him since like his first and second year.
I think that's the thing. Steve Holler, he'll pass on DSJ. Dennis Smith Jr. Yeah. But again, I mean, he's somebody who he's young, he had that potential. Yeah, he's been a starter, and he was part of that Porzingis trade. And I don't know why he hasn't.
He got too big too quick. I think he got too big too quick.
Wasn't he in the dunk contest?
Yeah, he was. He got too big too quick. Maybe, I don't know, man. But
so yeah, Miss Angelina, sorry, but yeah, Smith over Carter. I think he has more of an offensive game. He's not a great distributor, but he was really good in college. I
All
don't
right,
know.
well, I'm gonna sit down, watch some tape for a couple hours, and Dennis
Okay.
Smith, and I'm gonna get my own pod coming up. Oh, and then you guys can watch, and then yeah.
Okay. Well, what else you got, Matthew? Before we get out of here on this Thanksgiving Eve, which should be a holiday. I'm pushing for this. Thanksgiving Eve should be a holiday.
I don't think that'll ever happen, but I have nothing, John. I just been hanging in there. It's been a crazy, crazy week.
It really has.
Behind the scenes at the Lissy household, people just come and walk in, whatever. But anyways,
somebody's at your house?
No one.
Oh, okay. I'm like scaring me, man.
What have you been up to, dude?
Well, it's like you said, it's been an absolutely
5 minutes.
Oh, okay. It's been an absolutely crazy week, given everything that's gone on. I mean, from the trade deadline to the draft to free agency. I'm really looking forward to just kind of relaxing for a week before we get into training camps and kind of seeing what James Jones is planning on doing. Let's hit this real quick. Regan Graves in the chat. Tyshawn Alexander. Any thoughts?
Yeah.
What do you have on him?
Nothing really. Why? How did this come up, dude? What do you got?
So somebody brought it up in the chat.
I know.
We haven't talked about Tyshawn at all.
Well, what we do is we bring up notes and we study for hours and hours so we can remember this stuff. You can't just bring stuff up like this.
Yes,
what do you have on him, John?
I like Tyshawn Alexander because he's somebody I have. So I work in hospitality and I have some guests who always come and stay with us who are huge Creighton fans. And interestingly enough, when the pandemic hit, they were at my hotel sitting in my market watching the Creighton game. And the Creighton game is the game where at halftime they canceled the tournament right in the middle of the game. Okay. And I was like, oh, shit. Yeah, this happened. It's I'm going to forget their last name. The Sullivans. And they're from the Midwest, wherever Creighton is. That's where they're from. They go to the games. Nebraska. He's from Nebraska, so I think Creighton's around there somewhere. But anyways, he told me, he's like, Tyshawn Alexander, because I asked him about his team, and I'm like, hey, I do a Suns podcast. Is there anybody I should be looking out for? And he's like, Tyshawn Alexander, he's good. He's going to go pro. I don't know if he should. I think that he still has some room to grow. And then that's the guy that the Suns signed on the 2-way contract as an undrafted rookie. And I think that he's somebody who we'll see. Again, there's so much depth there, but it's another guy who I feel like James Jones is going to try to bring these guys in, try them out within our system and see if they're those quality individual guys that Monty can connect with and can potentially render us some depth when needed. That's what you're going to need, man. Chris Paul ain't playing 72 games, man. He ain't playing 72 games.
See. I believe you, but we'll see, man. He's here to have some fun and prove some people wrong. But I was like, we didn't talk about Tyshawn at all, did we?
No, we didn't. That's why
I remember watching some footage of him, but we never brought
chat.
him up.
I was like, we need to talk about him a little bit. And yes, Miss Angelina, we do study. We care very much about the Phoenix Suns. We talk about them all the time. We'd like to know. We like to know what we're talking about.
Yeah, we do flashcards. John comes over. We sit on the floor and we do flashcards.
Yeah, 2 times 2 is. But yeah, I mean, other than that, busy week. I'll tell you one thing I did do. Okay, I did start watching Breaking Bad. I've never watched it before.
Yes, everybody, just let John know how great Breaking Bad is because he's the last man on earth.
I seriously am.
He's been in a relationship for 7 years or how long, and he still hasn't watched it with my sister, his wife, and now they're watching it, and it's the best show probably ever.
Yeah, she's waiting in the living room right now. She's like, when are you going to be done? Because I want to watch Breaking Bad. I'm like, hold on. Got the pod. We're on season 2, babe. Like episode 4 or 5. Yeah. And it's really starting to get kind of good. The annoying thing is the first 8 episodes, or I'm exaggerating, the first 5 episodes, just Walter White coughing the whole time. I'm like, come on, man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there you go. Vincent Stefanelli. Creighton's in Omaha, Nebraska. That's where the Sullivans are from. They're from Omaha, Nebraska, because they always talk about the College World Series. And they were upset because they couldn't go to it this year. And yes, Miss Angelina, Jesse is the man. I'm loving him more every episode. I forget the name of the actor, but man, he's a good actor. Him and Walter White are great actors. His sister, Marie, I don't like her. I don't like Hank and Marie. Okay.
Yeah, Hank's cool. No one likes his sister, or his wife, Hank's wife.
And then Walter White's wife looks just like my sister, so that's always kind of
really.
Yeah, it's like Bonnie. It's kind of annoying. But anyways, cool, other than that, just kind of preparing for the podcast and getting ready to have a great Thanksgiving. So,
all right. Well, can't wait to see you tomorrow.
Yes, yes, sir. After work, because I have to work tomorrow. But happy Thanksgiving to all of the Suns Jamsters out there. We truly appreciate you coming and hanging out with us a little bit. Couple things. If you're interested in, let's see, where do I have this here? If you're interested in following the show, make sure that you do so. Press the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Click the thumbs up. We truly appreciate it. If you're listening on the Bright Side of the Sun Podcast Network, go ahead and do the same. If you like, one thing that I did, you see this painting that I did behind me. It is now currently available for sale. Not the actual original art, but I am selling on my Redbubble page, the Suns Jam Session Redbubble page. All kinds of different stuff. You could buy shower curtains. You could buy comforters, prints.
Yeah, you got to do this in the middle of the pod. Everyone's logging off, dude.
Oh, sorry. But yeah, the link is in the bio on the YouTube page. So if you want to support the show, I truly appreciate it.
I got this clock from Target. I think it was $20.
Are you going to sell it?
I didn't even actually buy it. My sister bought it for me. So you can go ahead and go to Target, $20.
Nice.
Right.
So, but happy Thanksgiving to all you Jamsters out there.
Yeah.
You can follow me on Twitter at Darth Voida. You can follow Matthew on Twitter
at Matthew Lissy.
And that's all I have for this one. It's time for me to go watch some Breaking Bad, fellas.
All right. Fill up your tummies and love your family.
Take care, everybody.